Hi, it's a week 2 NFL review and a Monday night preview with a doubleheader tonight. Hey, welcome to the Schatz and Tanier NFL podcast from FTN Fantasy for Monday, September 15th, 2025. I am Aaron Schatz. You know me as that DVOA guy from FTN Fantasy. He is Mike Tanier. You know him from his Substack, The Two Deep Zone, at miketanier.substack.com. We're going to go through 2-0 teams in a bit, do some DVOA previews, etc. But first, let's talk about the most important 2-0 team because they're the Super Bowl champions, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. And we talked in our preview episode on Thursday about what was going to be different because rematches are not always the same, and we missed something. We didn't talk about the fact that the Eagles never blitzed Mahomes during the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And that was different. This time, they came out with a lot of blitzes. Mahomes against the blitz, according to the NFL Next Gen stats, 3 for 10, 42 yards, the interception, which wasn't his fault, a sack, and a scramble.
And a scramble. Was the scramble one of the big yardage scrambles?
I mean, I don't know which scramble. He had a lot of scrambles.
He had a lot of scrambles. And there was a lot of stunting, too. Even with the blitzes, it looked like there were some crisscrossing defenders. I think one reason why you blitz Mahomes right now is because you can. Who do you have to cover? Who do you have to cover?
I mean, I think it's a combination of, one, let's not do the same thing we did last time.
Right.
Two, our front four is not quite as good as it was last year.
That's true.
And three, who does he have to throw to? I mean, for all the panic that's going to happen, I don't think anybody's panicking about the Chiefs quite yet, but for the discussion about is this the year the Chiefs fall off? We're like, yeah, but Rashee Rice will come back and Xavier Worthy will come back. That's his two best receivers, probably.
Right.
He's missing his two best receivers right now.
Right. But where are they when that happens? They've got the Ravens in 2 weeks. Does that look like a team that can?
Right. When that happens, they're 1-3 or 1-4 or something. Right.
Right. And yeah. So where are they going to be at that point? Where will the Bills be? Where will the Ravens be? And is that enough? We're acting like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are chasing Higgins. They're not chasing Higgins. They're young receivers who are good, but haven't been at that level.
We literally have a comment here from Coral Skipper that Mahomes would do anything for the Bengals supporting cast as his is awful.
Yes.
Yeah, and Kelsey had a couple of pass receptions that were like, Kelsey looks back. Look at him breaking tackles. And then he had the terrible ball off his hands that turned into the interception.
Right.
Makuba, by the way. Oh, my God. That guy, second-round pick, Andrew Makuba, really great blitzing, tackling Hollywood Brown, crossing on a 3rd and 1 early in the third quarter, and then the interception off Kelsey's hands.
Yeah, I've forgotten because I saw that 3rd and 1 play and the 4th and 1 play. I think we're going to talk about that as well. And it's a big tackle on Hollywood Brown because it's a crossing route on 3rd and 1. That's a first down if you make that completion, 94 times out of 100. And I forgot that was Makuba who made that play as well, in addition to blitzing, in addition to scooping up that alley-oop from Kelsey.
And I think that is the 3rd and 1 that was followed up by the Chiefs going for it on 4th and 1 inches, on their own 36 in the third quarter, which they didn't get. Now, first of all, I will say for people who want to be like, teams are going for it on 4th down, too much, etc. They also went for it on 4th and 1 later in the game and got it.
Right.
Which led to the interception.
Right.
But I think it is a little bit of a problem that they are unwilling to sneak Mahomes because it takes away one of the best 4th and short weapons you have.
Right. Teams whose quarterbacks don't sneak have to address that. Now, Mahomes does not sneak. That is official at this point.
Yes.
So you've got to do the Noah Gray thing, or you got to bring your backup off the bench. Lamar Jackson doesn't sneak. They've got all these other things they can do. They've used Mark Andrews in the past. You do have Derrick Henry. You have to have a plan B, and the plan B really should be some kind of sneak. Whether Jacoby Brissett goes out there and does it, whether you use your backup tight end to do it and you practice the heck out of it so you don't worry about a snap. It can't be this 4th and 1. Here comes the filigree. Here comes the T formation. Here comes all of this chicanery because the sneak is what works.
Right. And the whole let's bring in our tight end to sneak only works if you have a pass out of it that you use occasionally.
Right, or at least some zone read or some other thing.
Yeah.
I saw the Seahawks do one. The Seahawks had a terrible 4th-and-1 play action interception, but they also had one where Barner, the tight end, came in and did it. But they started out in some goofball formation, and then he went under center. That's like a ticking time bomb in terms of if you're using all this motion to get the tight end into that position, you're risking false start penalties, you're risking botch snaps, all these other things. Try to come up with something simple, and the simplest thing is if it's not Jackson, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, tell the quarterback, like, we expect you to run the sneak.
I'm now going to broach a subject that you probably are not a big fan of, but let's just bring it up. Do you think there's a problem with officiating the tush push?
No, if we're this ad hoc hypothesis because the Eagles got away with a false start once yesterday, and now it's magically a problem that's been happening.
I think the thought was that they got away with a false start twice, but
this totally never mentioned before in the history of tush push, which we talk about.
Right. This is not all of a sudden yesterday we were like, oh my God, the guards are jumping.
Right. Well, 2 years of nonstop offseason talk about this. Playoff games, Super Bowl games, Eagles haters. I see you, Eagles haters out there. Well, this play should be illegal because we're going to make up imaginary injuries that never happened. Now we're making up imaginary penalties that never happened. We're going to start officiating offensive lines. Let's play it both ways. And let's talk about what the Chiefs offensive line gets away with every single time Mahomes drops the throw. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, Dean Blandino, I think, said on the broadcast that he's tired of talking about how hard it's just a hard play to officiate because it's all in very tight quarters.
It's all in tight quarters. It's all bang, bang. Eagles have been called for motion and false starts several times on the tush push, by the way. You can go back and look. They've been forced into 4th and 6. They've been forced to settle for field goals. It does get called. Hard play to officiate, hard play to stop. Tired of making up all these like imaginary new things to say that it's illegal. Run it yourself or stop it or shut up.
The other thing that was different, I think, between this game and the Super Bowl is that the Chiefs did not sell out to stop Barkley.
Right.
And so Barkley got stuff against them.
Right.
It wasn't like a great game for Barkley,
no,
but he got some stuff. The touchdown was good, right? They didn't just dare Hurts to beat them the way they did in the Super Bowl. They played a more balanced defense, and the Eagles were not as good as they were in the Super Bowl. I mean, you talked about it in the walkthrough today. Like, for Eagles fans, there are some worries. Yes, we're 2-0 with, especially, beating the Chiefs is impressive, but, the second corner is still a problem, and A.J. Brown is not looking quite like A.J. Brown, and, there are issues.
Right. And then Goddard's not available, so the entire passing game becomes let's try and launch the ball to the two guys, or let's just stand there and wait for something to happen. That's something that Eagles fans saw all of last year. It's something that you hope to see the Eagles correct if you're rooting for the Eagles, because again, how sustainable is that when you're facing the better teams? When you're facing somebody like the Packers, you can't just drop back and hope that somebody gets open deep after 10 seconds.
Yeah, I will say that pass to Devontae Smith where McDuffie got lost, Hurts was under pressure and he just kind of threw it up there.
Yeah.
McDuffie got lost and Smith caught it, and you're like, that's not really sustainable.
Right. That can't be the basis of this. And when the Eagles were successful and they got those deep passes, you saw it in the Super Bowl, for example, it's because Smitty got open. It's because A.J. Brown was getting open, not because it was like, well, we got one-on-one, let's play hero ball and see what happens.
We will answer some more questions. A reminder, when you're watching us live on Mondays and Thursdays, you can make comments, usually through YouTube. We will take them. We will comment on them. We will answer your questions. Let's talk about the biggest thing that happened yesterday for the long term, and that is the turf toe injury to Joe Burrow. It is now official. He's out for 3 months, which may mean the season, because unless the Bengals are really in the playoff race come mid-December, are you going to take a cold Joe Burrow off the shelf and put him in for 3 games? Like, even if you're in the playoff race, that's tough to do. But if you're not in the playoff race, you're not doing it.
Right. I mean, if you're in the playoff race, I think you'd do it. But I was looking at it originally as thinking this might be a 2 to 5. This is much more serious.
Now, I put this out on Blue Sky and Twitter yesterday. This is not a statement that Joe Burrow is not good. It's just, this is what is. Okay.
Right.
The Bengals' offensive DVOA was better in 2023
Yeah.
with Jake Browning at quarterback
Oh,
than
boy.
with Joe Burrow at quarterback
Uh-huh.
by a slight amount.
Mhm.
Now, that was not Burrow's best year,
Right.
right? That offense was not as good as it was in Burrow's other years,
Right.
right? So
Right.
this is not a statement that I think Jake Browning is better than Joe Burrow
Mhm.
or as good as Joe Burrow.
Right.
This is a statement that I think what you lose by going from Burrow to Browning is not as much as we think.
Browning was 4-3 as the starting quarterback for the Bengals in Burrow's absence. He completed over 70% of his passes. He is a veteran who has worked with these receivers in the past. So, yeah, it's demonstrated proof of concept that he's going to get out there. He's going to distribute the ball. They're going to design every yak play they can for their receivers, which is what they did yesterday in that win. And they're going to have a productive offense. Yeah, you're right. It'd be silly to say that there's no drop off, but Browning is one of the top, let's say, top 3 backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, Michael Aaron says, "Is it Cousins' call time?" And the answer is no. What are you're going to? If the best thing you're going to get out of Kirk Cousins is Jake Browning, who hasn't been in the system for 3 years.
Yes, and can't move. Browning can move a little bit. The Bengals' offensive line is not playing really well right now. Let's put it that way.
And Red Matt says he's very skinny and gets hurt a lot, which is, I think, a comment about Burrow, not about Browning. And it is a little bit of a worry. And we all know the meme from when they drafted Jamar Chase about how Burrow was going to be on the ground without Penei Sewell to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the offensive line is a problem. I think the Bengals still have like a 30 to 35% playoff chance. Like, I just don't think that they're suddenly a trash team because they lost Burrow. I think that they still have Chase and Higgins and they still have Chase Brown, and it's a loss. It's definitely a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they've gone from one of the best starters in the league to one of the best backups in the league, not from one of the best starters in the league to one of the worst backups in the league.
Agreed. I think they've gone from sort of, hey, a sleeper fun Super Bowl, dark horse type thing to they're back in the usual Bengals territory. It's like, okay, how do you milk 9 wins, 10 wins out of that and get into the playoffs? I've been doing this on all the radio shows. Here's what's coming up for Browning: at Vikings, at Broncos, Lions, at Packers. That's the next.
That is 4 pretty darn good defenses right there.
Defenses who will get after you. Again, their offensive line was not playing spectacularly. A couple of teams that are hungry coming off of disappointing losses. You got the Lions that are out to prove something. You've got the Packers who are all terrified of right now. Browning is going to get tested. I don't know how much receiver screen to chase, receiver screen to chase. I don't know how much success he's going to get out of doing stuff like that.
And just to mention one strategic thing from yesterday, Jason Garrett was upset on Sunday Night Football pregame show about the Jaguars going for it on 4th and 5, I think on the 7?
On the 7.
Late in the game, rather than kicking the field goal that goes up 6.
Yeah.
The field goal that goes up 6 is awful. Sometimes it works. It worked for the Patriots yesterday.
Right.
But for the most part, the field goal that goes up 6 just encourages the other team to play more aggressively, which makes their offense better, rather than encouraging them to play conservatively, to play for overtime and the field goal.
Right.
And if you get the 4th down, you end the game. And what's funny was that Garrett said, I can't believe that they wouldn't kick the field goal and force the backup quarterback on the other team to go the length of the field for a touchdown.
I kind of.
And what the backup quarterback actually did was go the length of the field for a touchdown. That's what he did.
That is what he did. I could see the logic, the preliminary logic. Here's my counterpoint. Have you seen the Jaguars in the red zone, like, ever? Do you know what they do?
Yeah, no, that is an interesting counterpoint. I'm with you.
They are disaster artists of epic proportions when they get into the red zone. And 4th and 5 on the 7 was almost asking for kind of what happened.
And
which is
something is up with Brian Thomas. He's not playing well this year. Alligator armed a pass yesterday and drops and not getting open as much. And I don't know what's going on with him, or maybe it's just 2 games and what are you going to, just random variation. But
Right.
I will also say about the Patriots-Dolphins one, I was really upset that the Patriots kicked the field goal to go up 6 because here they have this unbelievably untrustworthy rookie kicker, and they kicked it from over 50. And you're talking about if you miss that, you're giving the Dolphins another 8 yards of field position.
Yes.
And it wasn't 4th and 5. It was like 4th and 2 or something.
Well, we'll go back. They pass on like 2nd and 8, and it's an incomplete pass that stops the clock.
Yeah.
Then they get
Drake May, you cannot throw that pass unless your receiver is wide open.
Your receiver is wide open. It's almost like you just have to go and eat ball and make them burn a timeout. There were 2 timeouts left. They got the 4th and 2. They were going for it because that kicker, I'm surprised he's still on the roster right now. And there was a false start, so that made it 4th and 7. So that gave them what you would think is no other choice. But I was looking at it's like, I don't know, maybe punt, maybe run it.
Maybe punt. I think ESPN had a punt as a better win probability than a field goal attempt.
Right, because now you're forcing Tua and everybody to execute down the field, and they're demonstrating that they're not particularly good at it. But I don't like 4th and 7. I don't know. McDaniel, your screen passes. Do a screen pass to Trevion. The Dolphins don't like to tackle. Anyway, long story short, the Dolphins a gift opportunity. Let's not.
Yeah, don't kick the field goal that goes up 6. Just don't do it. All right. Which 2-0 teams are for real?
Okay.
Other than the Eagles. Let's count.
Packers.
We're going to count. These are the DVOA rankings of the 2-0 teams. Now, they're not all in the top 10, but part of that is because, again, after 2 weeks, no opponent adjustments yet. Okay. Number 1.
Yes.
Green Bay.
Yes.
You could not get more for real. They are number 2 on offense behind a team that's only played 1 game, the Chargers.
Right. Okay.
They are number 1 on defense.
With a bullet.
That is without opponent adjustments. And look at who they've played.
Yeah. Opponent adjustments that will make them look even more dominating. They are visiting the Browns. That should be like a poor
9-0.
And then you're right. And then the Cowboys rematch. It's going to be chaos. Packers
actually 90-0 doesn't give enough credit to Myles Garrett.
That's true. He'll get a couple. He'll get a couple sacks. Yeah, 26-0. Dylan Gabriel finishes the game.
Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Now they've beaten the Texans 14-9 and the Titans 33-19. So it seems a little bit weird that they're so high in DVOA because those are not big wins. They're kind of close wins. And the Titans are not a good team.
Right.
Well, I think we all felt going into the season the Rams were a real team. So I feel like it's hard to take a 2-0 Rams team and go, that's not for real.
Right. Now they get the Eagles next week. That'll tell us more about both of these teams. Both Rams victories were close. That Titans game was close despite the final score. But in terms of proof of concept of who they are, is Matthew Stafford healthy? Looks that way. Devontae Adams, is he a welcome addition? He is. He's bringing a lot to the offense. We know what Puka can do, etc. Is that defense taking sort of the step forward from last year? It sure looks like they are, where they're getting so much pass rush that it's, almost like Packers, rendering everything else these offenses are trying to do a struggle. So, yeah, the Rams are absolutely for real.
By the way, just to throw in a non-2-0 team, Falcons pass rush.
Yes. This week particularly. Yeah. Darasaw's replacement is a mess.
Justin School. Yeah, not
right.
Good.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Number 4. Question for Mike from Todd Singer. Given the division they play in, do you think the Colts have the inside track to a bye in the playoffs? The Colts are 7th in offense and 8th on defense, but they won yesterday thanks to a leverage call on a 60-yard field goal try, which, by the way, was the right call. How for real are they?
Fraudzilla.
The original text I sent you about the script for the show today was, are they the Saints from last year?
Right.
And beating the Broncos 29-28 is a little bit better than the Saints victories from last year, but it feels like, I don't feel like this is for real. So I don't feel like the Colts have a bye to the playoffs. I think based on our preseason knowledge, I still think the Texans and Jaguars are better shots to go to the playoffs in that division.
Yeah, and right. And if you're talking about can they be the 7th seed or whatever, because you can take the Bengals and put them aside, and the Steelers, it looks like we might be able to put them aside, etc. Yeah, that conversation about the Colts being where they always slot is in place. But I'm in the process of the rewatch of that game. scheming up stuff very, very well for Daniel Jones. That's great. It's fine. I don't see it. They beat
they have had a couple of deep passes. They have not rendered Alec Pierce completely superfluous, so that's a little bit of a surprise.
Beautiful schemed up play for Tyler Warren lined up at fullback. That's interesting, kind of doing some like Kyle Juszczyk type stuff with him. Getting a pass into the flat for Taylor. Taylor is running all over people. This is not sustainable. I think what we saw is that they are kind of maybe in a tier with the Broncos, but not only was it the leverage call, but it was a missed field goal by Lutz.
And maybe the Broncos are not as good as we thought, and then the Colts are a little bit better than we thought, and that puts them in roughly the same. I mean, I think the first week, the Dolphins just looked like a total mess.
They don't care. Right. And they sort of started caring when they were down 12-0 yesterday, and they realized, boy, if we try a little bit, we can beat this team with no kicker. And then they stopped caring at the end. But this was a tougher test, obviously, not jumping on any Colts bandwagons, please.
Useful title says, Tyler Warren hype. Totally not saying this because I drafted him in fantasy. I will admit that in the FTN Dynasty League, I took Colston Loveland ahead of Warren.
Okay.
Because I thought Loveland was a longer term better option, and I do kind of regret it now.
Right. Well, they're moving Warren all over the place and scheming up things to get him the ball, and that's kind of what you want from a tight end, especially if it's like PPR situation.
Okay, surprising at number 6 in DVOA because their wins have both come close. Remember, no opponent adjustments yet. 2-0 Arizona Cardinals.
I have no opinion whatsoever.
I mean, I think they're and somebody who was high on the Cardinals coming into the season, they beat the Saints by 7 and the Panthers by 5, and they desperately tried to give away that game yesterday. I don't think this 2-0 is for real.
They tried to give it away.
More of an 8-9.
They tried to give it away yesterday by allowing like 3 scores at the end. They tried to give it away in week 1 by letting the Saints get down to the goal line. But you're right. You were high on them. DVOA was high on them. A lot of experts were high on them. I guess this is where it starts, where you start building. You beat these bad teams. You start building your resume, and you get in that position. But I got no thoughts on this team.
I will point out differences between EPA and DVOA. Kevin Cole's adjusted scores based on EPA said this game was a tie. Yeah. DVOA gave the Cardinals like a 95% post-game win expectancy. So my stats like the Cardinals in this game a lot more than EPA did. Some of that I think has to do with fourth down, because fourth downs have more power in EPA. Some of it might have to do with penalties. But I feel like the Cardinals are not the 6th best team in the league. No.
Fair enough. By the way, the Panthers were 3 of 4 in fourth downs. Whenever the Panthers have one of these games where it's like one of these almost wins, because the Panthers get a lot of almost wins, Eagles, Chiefs last year, look at their fourth down numbers. They seem to have a high execution rate on those, and make of that what you will.
Okay. Then, surprisingly, the next 4 teams in DVOA are not 2-0. Buffalo, 11. For real.
Come on. Yeah, moving on.
Because that's without opponent adjustments for playing the Ravens in week 1.
By the way, they're 12.5-point favorites right now against the Dolphins next week. And I think that's conservative. Yeah.
Eagles, 12. For real.
For real, yeah.
San Francisco, 14.
Interesting.
17-13 over the Seahawks and 26-21 against the Saints. So it's 2 close wins, which is why DVOA is not a big fan.
Right.
And an opponent adjustments will make that look worse because of the Saints.
Right.
But those are both on the road, and one of them is with the backup quarterback who's named McCorkle Jones.
McCorkle. Yeah, these are like the gutsy team defense, McCaffrey grinded out type wins, and the 49ers are getting them, and they're banking them right now for when Jones comes back. And if they get better health, Ayuk comes back later on, they're going to be in position. They also, by the way, figured out we're not going to trust the new kicker type of thing in that game. And I saw them very aggressive as they went down to the goal line. They got a touchdown to McCaffrey in a situation where in the past they might have handed off and just been like, oh, let's see if Moody can F this up again.
My cousin, who's a huge Michigan fan, texted me yesterday to say that the Patriots should sign Moody.
No!
Which is so the way he is. Like, every Michigan player is the greatest player that's ever been. And I'm like, Moody is bad.
But not Moody. Not Moody. Yeah, Young Way. Go when Koo gets cut by the Falcons.
Falcons. He's going to go to the Patriots.
Because it's like
Much better historical record than Younghoe Koo is just having a slump. Moody is bad.
Yes, that's it.
Red Matt says, are the Niners being dragged down by special teams? 3 straight special teams coaches have been awful. It's time to blame Shanahan. I wonder if the problems the 49ers have on special teams, other than Moody, are related to the problems they have with injuries.
Yeah.
Because it's a depth thing, because guys get injured and then guys are playing more important roles, and then backups are playing special teams, and the 49ers are bad special teams every year.
Right. And especially last year, and I think the start of this year, it's next man up, and the next man's coming off the practice squad, and he's the one out there dealing with kick returns, punt returns, etc. And the kicker thing is kind of separate. The one thing you would say about Shanahan, and I know a lot of 49ers listeners, it's like he did tend to play for a field goal more than he should have in some situations for a guy who knew his kickers were going to destroy his heart. So that might be something.
The last 2-0 team is Cincinnati. They're 16th in DVOA. We already discussed them. Not for real, but better than you think they are.
Better than you think you are. Gut checky team. They've got a tough slate coming up.
We talk about games with reverse post-game win expectancy. There was one this week, and it might surprise you.
Giants Cowboys?
Patriots Dolphins. The Giants had 21 penalties, including declined and offsetting, which is the most since 2016. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Patriots 39% against the Dolphins.
Shocking. They were in control of that game.
They were in control of that game the whole time. But the Dolphins, at one point, the Dolphins had like 9 yards of play or something, like ridiculous early on. Like the Dolphins offense was good. The Patriots defense was bad. Tackling was bad. Coverage, Alex Austin was completely lost. Right. But the Dolphins defense was also bad, and so the Patriots got to win.
Tackling was bad. Achane was out there saying, I'm going to flip the narrative for this team. Tyreek Hill woke up to a degree. Waddle was playing well. But again, I am shocked that it's a reverse win expectancy for the first 22 minutes or whatever that game. It's like this is going to be a steamroll except for the extra point situation. And then in the fourth quarter, while both teams were making execution errors, the Dolphins were out execution erroring the Patriots for all it's worth. So I'm surprised by that.
Here's the DVOA top 12. Again, no opponent adjustments yet.
All right.
Philadelphia 12, Buffalo 11, Atlanta 10. Defense playing well.
But Buffalo 11 after that win yesterday?
Because remember, DVOA really liked the Ravens in the first week.
Okay. All right.
They were like 23rd, even though they were 1-0. So that win yesterday was huge.
Right. We forget that it was a 40-22 in the fourth quarter. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm fine.
Detroit 9.
Okay. Big win yesterday.
Vegas 8, 1 game.
Yeah. Okay.
Jacksonville 7. That surprises me. Arizona 6.
All
Seattle 5.
Seattle's weird.
Yeah. Seattle's weird. This is early season weirdness.
They were kind of playing to not lose against the 49ers and lost, and then they were playing not to lose against the Steelers until the guy let the ball bounce around in the end zone, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're up by 2 scores somehow. Let's turn on the heat.
Indianapolis 4, not for real.
Fraudzilla.
Baltimore 3.
Yeah.
Rams 2.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay 1.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
Monday Night Football, we've got a doubleheader, a 7 p.m. Game, which I believe is on ABC, which is Buccaneers at Texans, and a 10 p.m. game on ESPN, which is Chargers at Raiders. We're going to admit right now there is no way that Mike and I are going to make it through that.
Nope. Midnight with the Chargers. That's a wake up at 6. Watch the replay special.
Buccaneers at Texans. The one thing I did note, the Texans were second against running backs as receivers last year, which is a big part of the Buccaneers offense.
Yes, absolutely. Bucky Irving factor.
Stroud is good on middle passes, which is where the Buccaneers were weak last year. The Texans are favored by 2.5, which I feel like is a little bit too much
It's a little optimistic.
Because home field advantage is like 1.5 points at this point, and I don't think the Texans are really better than the Bucs.
Right. You got to check the injury report and actually who's going to be playing on the offensive line for the Texans, because the Texans' offensive line, after all their off seasons of additions and draft picks and talking about how they filtered guys, fell apart almost instantly against the Rams. Fell apart almost instantly. So I need to see who's out there. I need to see what it looks like. But I'd be leaning towards the Buccaneers being able to manufacture another one of their wins.
Yeah. I think it does mean something that the line is 2.5 and not 3 or 3.5. Obviously,
Right.
3 is a big number, so they're not that confident of the Texans winning.
No, and Stroud doesn't have a lot of playmakers right now. He does not have a lot of guys to.
Yeah, it's Nico Collins and rookies.
And rookies, right? And Iowa State rookies. So it's like, you know.
Monday Night Football, 10 p.m. Chargers at Raiders. Chargers won this game twice last year, 22-10 in week 1 and 34-20 in week 18. By the way, I mentioned that the Texans were second against running backs as receivers last year. The Chargers were first.
Really?
Against running backs as receivers last year, but they were weak against deep passes. So I wonder about Dante Thornton, the 4th-round rookie. He is now the deep threat for the Raiders.
Right. And that's saying something when your 4th-round rookie is your deep threat. It shows you where you are in the rebuilding stage. But I look at this and see the Chargers going 2-0. Although I got this big bet of the Raiders over 9.5 this year.
I kind of like the Raiders plus 3.5 at home with the idea of basic competency.
Basic competency is a thing.
That they could lose by 3.
You know what? Plus 3.5. I'd probably take it if I had any intention of staying up past like 10:05.
Yeah.
No fun.
Chargers defense, by the way, also I'll point out was 6th in the red zone last year. I know that does tend to regress to the mean, but Geno Smith loves his red zone picks.
Oh my God, yes. Red zone picks, red zone fumbles, general weirdness. That was a big Seattle problem. I don't have a great read on either team. Raiders coming off that Patriots victory. It was just sort of a blah game. And the Brazil victory was impressive, but like these Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, the Brazil victory definitely made me feel like my pessimism about the Chargers may have been misplaced. Yeah. But then again, Brazil, weird. It's a weird field. Yeah. Although we didn't see the slippery field this year in the Brazil game like last year. They did seem to treat the field to make it more like an NFL field.
Thank heavens, because that was uncalled for.
All right, that does it for the Monday show, folks. Thank you all for watching and listening. And again, a reminder that we are here Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern for the live show, and then afterwards in your podcast feeds. And of course, like and review the show, rate it, let your friends know all about us, help us build the listenership. We will be back on Thursday for a preview of Week 3. Everybody enjoy the Monday Night Football doubleheader. Mike Tanier, I'm Aaron Schatz. So long, everybody.